The United States is already preparing Operation Hammer as a direct response to the Iranian regime if the ceasefire completely collapses. On May 13, 2026, the discussion in Washington revolves around a new military phase against Tehran, not as an improvised adventure, but as a stern warning. If the Iranian dictatorship continues to use nuclear threats, maritime blockades, and regional blackmail, Trump may authorize a major resumption of U.S. military action. The international press itself has already reported that the Trump administration is considering using the name Operation Sledgehammer if major combat operations resume against Iran. I'll tell you all about this in a moment, but right now you'll want to subscribe to the channel to stay well informed, real-time information with the best journalistic quality you've ever seen. With the standard of credibility, Milson Alves, Operation Hammer is taking shape under this pressure. The target is the Iranian regime. It means that Washington is preparing a bigger military response in case the Iranian regime breaks the truce, closes vital routes, or tries to speed up the path to a nuclear bomb. The immediate reason is clear. Iran has once again turned uranium enrichment into an open threat. The member of the Iranian Parliament's National Security Commission, Ebrahim Rezai, stated that one of Tehran's options in the event of a new attack would be to enrich uranium to 90%, which is associated with military use material. Iran has already reached 60%, and according to experts cited by the international press, moving to 90% would further shorten the technical path to a nuclear weapon. The threat does not appear as an innocent defense, it emerges as strategic blackmail. Tehran is trying to tell the world that if it is pressured, it could move forward to the most dangerous point of its nuclear program. That's why Trump puts security above diplomatic theater. While the left tries to sell Operation Hammer as a new catastrophic invasion, the White House treats the issue as the containment of a real threat. Trump stated that when he talks about Iran, he thinks about one thing: preventing the regime from having a nuclear weapon. This statement bothers the opposition media because it dismantles the narrative of weakness. Washington is not reacting to a commentator's opinion. It is reacting to a government that threatens to enrich uranium to 90% and tries to survive politically by playing on nuclear fears. The new operation also sends a message to the negotiations themselves. According to reports, Trump rejected an Iranian proposal considered unacceptable and warned that the United States could finish the job if Tehran did not accept real limits. The American plan involves maintaining military pressure while demanding that the regime stop playing with the nuclear threat and restore stability to maritime routes. The preparation of Operation Hammer shows that Trump does not want to negotiate with Iran from a position of weakness. He wants to negotiate with visible strength, with the Pentagon ready, and with a clear message to Khamenei: a deal without effective disarmament is worthless. The main point now is the next step. If the Iranian regime uses the ceasefire to buy time, hide military capability, strengthen militias, and advance nuclear enrichment, the American response may stop being a warning and become coordinated action. Tehran threatens 90% enrichment, uses the parliament to send a nuclear message, keeps the Revolutionary Guard as an arm of intimidation, and tries to make the world accept that a radical regime has the power of atomic blackmail. In this scenario, American military preparation is not a lack of control, it's deterrence. It's a warning that the Iranian regime will not have the freedom to threaten Israel, the Gulf, and American allies while pretending to be a victim in front of the cameras. History shows that aggressive regimes back down when they encounter real strength, not when they receive unlimited concessions. In 1986, after a series of terrorist attacks linked to the regime of Muammar Gaddafi, the United States launched Operation El Dorado Canyon against military targets in Libya. The goal was not to permanently occupy the nation, but to impose a cost on a government that used terrorism as a tool abroad. The American action showed that a quick, limited, and well-signaled response can break the sense of impunity of regimes that test Washington's patience. The lesson applies to Iran. When a dictatorship calculates that the West is divided, it moves forward. When it realizes that the White House is willing to act, it starts to measure every step. Another important example comes from Syria. In 2017, after the use of chemical weapons by Bashar al-Assad's regime, Trump authorized a Tomahawk missile strike against the Shayrat air base. The action did not turn into a full occupation, did not require a long war, and did not require muddled rhetoric. It was a direct military response to a red line being crossed. This logic helps to understand Operation Hammer. Force can be used to prevent unacceptable threats from becoming routine. In the case of Iran, the red line is even more serious because it involves military-grade nuclear enrichment, pressure on international routes, and the risk of an arms race in the Middle East. Other nations have also understood that nuclear threats cannot be treated as empty rhetoric. Israel has always made it clear that it does not accept declared enemies advancing toward nuclear capability in its neighborhood. Gulf nations, even when they speak of diplomacy, fear the Revolutionary Guard because they know that Tehran uses militias, drones, and sabotage to pressure smaller governments. Europe, when facing energy or nuclear blackmail, also learns that an agreement without verification becomes a trap. Japan and South Korea follow this kind of crisis closely because they know what it's like to live near regimes that use missiles and bombs as political currency. Operation Hammer, in this context, is not just an American decision. It's a signal to all allies that Washington can still uphold an international order where dictatorships don't rule through intimidation. The Iranian regime tries to turn every bit of pressure from the United States into internal propaganda. The Revolutionary Guard claims resistance, but delivers isolation, fear, and political poverty. When Tehran threatens to enrich uranium to 90%, it is not protecting the Iranian people. It is using the people as a shield to keep a radical elite in power. Operation Hammer comes into play exactly at this point. If the regime chooses the path of nuclear threat, Trump makes it clear that the United States has a military option ready. Now, the next move depends on Tehran. If the regime accepts verifiable limits, backs away from the nuclear threat, and stops using the ceasefire as a tactical pause, the pressure can continue on the diplomatic front. If it chooses to challenge, Operation Hammer becomes the most serious option on the table. Trump is forcing the Iranian dictatorship to face a tough choice: abandon nuclear blackmail or face an American response prepared to strike hard at the heart of the regime's military. I'm Milson Alves, an international affairs specialist, and my purpose is to keep you well informed with the facts every day. The news links are in the video description. Leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and at the end, check out the comments so you can be even more engaged with the Milson Alves community. Take care.